Hi, everybody. Welcome to Fridays Live. I'm Carolyn, for those of you that don't know, and I have with me Catherine from Knitting Notions here in Nashville. Hey, Catherine.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. Thank you so much for letting me come and invade your space today.
Oh, that's fine. I'm glad to have you.
So, y'all, Catherine is an indie dyer, and she and her husband also do a lot of wooden knitting notions. So you'll have to check out her website, knittingnotions.com, and we'll share her other information also later. But we're here to talk about all her good stuff and also to kind of talk about our experiences as indie dyers and all that. But I thought it was really cool that y'all might want to know this, that Catherine is you still are, because you still have a 14-year-old. Yeah, she's still a homeschooling mom.
He's 8th grade.
Yeah. And so I just thought that was really cool. So Catherine, tell us a little bit about your business, how it started, your background, and all that good stuff.
Okay. Well, we started our business in 2005, and our first product was our Swifts, which are over there. We'll get to that in a minute. We started out with our Swifts as our first product, and then this was before Ravelry or Etsy or anything like that. So we started out with an eBay store. And then when we realized we wanted to kind of make this more of a full rounded out business, we started trying to come up with some other products. And we did some little shawl pins on the lathe. And then I started dyeing yarn. So I started.
How long have you been dyeing?
Yeah, that's a newer style. That's not made on the lathe. But yeah, that's our newest one. These are all hand done.
Okay.
But this is the shawl pins that we have now. So
here, how about show y'all real quick?
I started dyeing yarn in 2005.
Okay.
Yeah, I started out by learning more color theory, how to mix colors, because I wanted to do, I already knew right off the top, I wanted to do basically a palette of colors that would harmonize with each other and that were repeatable, so that I could carry stock and repeat. So that's how I do it.
Yeah.
And so, we do 2, maybe 3 big batches of dyeing a year just to restock our inventory. We have 4 bases, and we carry 32 colors at the moment in all 4 bases, and those are always on the website. And
you do, so we were talking about this because y'all have seen me on social media. I do small batches, and I pretty much dye every day of the week unless it's, something else is going on, like a trunk show that weekend or something like that. But Catherine does hers in large batches. You've got big kettles that she dyes hers in, and you only dye tonal solids at this point. Is that right? You said you used to do others.
I used to do hand paints. But I just kind of moved away from it. I've realized that my sales were better with my solids, and I prefer making them.
Yeah.
I prefer knitting with them. So that's what we do.
All right. And you do how many festivals a year?
Usually about 20, 21. Occasionally a trunk show, but mostly it's festivals.
All right. So where's your next one that you'll be at?
I will be at the brand new, what is it called? Scenic Stitches, I believe. It's new this coming year.
Yeah.
It'll be in Chattanooga.
Nice.
The first weekend in February.
Very
that's cool. February 1st and 2nd.
That's awesome.
And they do have a website, I believe.
Okay.
If you want to look that up and get information.
All right. Scenic Stitches.
Scenic Stitches, I believe is the name of it, if I remember right.
Very cool. All right. So what else? Okay. So I wanted you to talk a little bit about, I know we've already touched on it. So what is your process? Like, you go to a festival, and then when you come home, what happens?
Okay. So like before the festival season starts, say my first show, I'll make sure my trailer is fully loaded with however much stock, that the maximum stock that I'm going to put in there. Then I go do the show, and then when I get back, I'll look through my inventory this is my digital inventory, and see if anything needs restocked from in here, because this is where all the rest of the inventory is.
Yeah.
And so I generally don't have to restock for every show.
Gotcha.
It depends. If it was a really busy show, I might need to restock some things, or if it's been 2 or 3 shows, and then I might need to restock, then I do a big restock.
Gotcha.
That's pretty much it. We usually order yarn to re-dye in the winter, which we're going to be doing that soon, and we'll be dyeing some yarn in February for the spring festival season.
Gotcha.
And then usually about May, or June, I'll start getting together another big order. These are like 500 pounds.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll put together another order and we'll dye that over because I usually have July off.
Okay.
Sometimes I've got a little bit of June. Sometimes I've got 2 or 3 shows in June. It just depends.
Yeah.
So we'll dye yarn in July. And that's when, if I'm going to do new colors, I usually do them in July.
Okay.
And I'll discontinue 2 or 3 colors and do 2 or 3 more new colors. Like we did this year, we did 3 new colors in July. And then, just make sure the trailer is stocked. And there we go again, where the fall season is usually a little busier and that starts in August. So the first weekend in August is usually my fall shows. Okay. And those go usually all the way through November.
Okay. And then the notions that y'all make by hand.
That's getting done all the time.
You do that all
whatever
year round.
Is needing. Like right now, my husband's making Swifts. We finished the bases and the arm parts, but he's out there making dowels right now.
That's very cool. All right. And I didn't even think to check y'all comments. I did see you all.
We're taking up all the time.
Yeah. I did see you all commenting about doing some Black Friday shopping. That's cool. I'm glad to see y'all here. Laura, Lonnie, Katrin, Karen's here from Scotland. Hey, Yvette, happy Friday to you. And let's see.
I forgot all about Black Friday. I
know. I have to tell you, we went to the Opry Mills Mall this morning. We had to park way out.
I wouldn't touch Opry Mills on Black Friday.
It wasn't
there
bad.
Occasionally. I miss some of the stores that used to be there. The Barnes and Noble has been gone for 10 years, and I really miss that. No, 15.
Yeah.
2010, after the big flood.
Yeah.
They never replaced it.
Oh, no.
That was my favorite place to go down there. Now I've got to go all the way to Cool Springs to go to the Barnes and Noble.
Okay. So you're a reader.
I'm a big reader.
Nice.
I've been a bookworm since I was about this big.
I'm assuming you know about McKay's?
Oh, yes. I love McKay's. I just went there last month. Took a bunch of stuff down there. Got some credit. Nice. Brought home a bunch more stuff.
Yeah. So we may have been at McKay's this morning. McKay's is a used, they got books McKay's. And what else? The records.
Oh, everything. Toys, games, music. I buy music there sometimes, but it's mostly books.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was me. We had like 30 minutes there and I was looking at the books.
I mostly read classics, but I do read a lot of some contemporary literary fiction too. Okay. I've got a few favorite authors.
Who are your favorites?
Of contemporary movie?
Yeah.
Or let's see. I recently discovered Emily St. John Mandel.
Okay.
Station 11.
I don't know her.
Ever heard that?
No.
You should check it out. Her most famous, well-known book is the Station 11. It was made into a series on Max.
Oh,
HBO
okay.
Max. But those are really good. She's got 6 books. I've read 4 of those 6 books, but I own all 6, and I just haven't got to the other 2.
You just haven't gotten to. Okay.
Let's see who else. Anne Patchett, another one of my favorites.
Okay.
Stephen King, but that's like starting when I was 13. I've been a lifelong Stephen King reader.
Very cool.
I love Stephen King.
Who's your favorite classics?
Oh, wow. Favorite classics. Let's see. I like a lot of English literature. So Dickens.
Okay. Yeah.
Thomas Hardy.
Okay.
Somerset Maugham. Oh. I love Somerset Maugham. Let's see who else.
Are you a Jane Austen fan at all?
I like Jane Austen.
Okay.
I do. Tolstoy.
Okay.
Dostoevsky.
Nice.
You are Herman Melville.
Oh, okay.
Moby Dick is one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one. All right. That's nice. I love that. They're very cool. A lot of our viewers are also big readers as well. Yeah. So
we need more readers in the world.
I know. But yeah, I think it's a common, I've noticed there's a lot of knitters that are also quilters. And then there's a lot of knitters.
Quilting.
Have you? See?
I went through a spell of quilting in my 30s.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now I'm not going to ask you that question. We're going to do a version of this or that later. And I'll ask you some other questions. So let's see. Karen, who's from Scotland, she says, we have Color Friday here in the UK to promote shopping with small independent businesses. I love that.
They do Small Business Saturday here.
Yeah, we have Small Business Saturday. Yeah. So that's very cool. All right. And then, so Lonnie says, come to DFW Fiber Fest in September. Do you do DFW?
I have in the past.
Okay.
The reason I don't do it anymore is because it's the same weekend as my shows in Virginia.
Okay.
So I'm in Berryville doing the Shenandoah Valley Fiber Fest. It's either that weekend or it's the same weekend as the Wool Gathering, which is in Yellow Springs, Ohio. Okay. Those 2 weekends are the one DFW usually is on. So
okay.
So yeah, I used to do that one though back in the early aughts.
Oh, yeah?
No. I take that back. It was probably like about 2010 through 15, somewhere in
Okay.
there.
All right.
That DFW was in my schedule.
So
and then I started doing YarnCon that weekend.
Okay. Do you prefer bigger festivals or do you like smaller festivals?
So I'm fine either way.
Okay.
I mean, if it's a well-attended festival, it doesn't matter to me whether it's a huge festival or a small festival.
Okay.
So, yeah, I do a combination.
Yeah.
I do some really big ones like Wisconsin Sheep and Wool and Michigan Sheep and Festival and SAF, of course. SAF was my first festival I ever did in 2006. So that's one of my favorites. And it's close.
Yeah.
It's only 300 miles from Nashville.
Yeah, that's good.
Close to me.
Yeah.
I go as far as Minnesota and
So, and I like because here where you're situated, you can kind of go.
It's awesome
in
for that.
Any direction.
Yes.
I just have to
that's
go
what
north
I really
and further.
I grew up in Nashville, and that's one of my favorite parts about it now.
Yeah.
Because I can go any interstate in any direction and get to quite a wide range of customers.
Yeah.
I haven't been to the West Coast since about 2010. I did try it for 3 or 4 different shows.
Yeah.
And it was nice to go just for the experience, but the profit margin's a little low when you're driving 6 days coming and back because we always drive. You know, I've got a trailer. So.
Yeah. I saw her trailer out there. I saw her dye. Well, I was going to call it dye shed, but it's not really a shed. Your dye basement.
It's in daylight basement.
Yeah.
My studio, I call it.
Yes.
When I'm feeling fancy.
So, and I asked you this earlier, what advice would you give to someone if they're a new festival goer?
Just as a customer.
As a customer.
Yeah. Well, I would say be prepared with some food and water and comfortable shoes.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about
maybe if you want to have projects planned out.
Yes.
A lot of people that come in with a list of projects, with the idea that if I find something I really love and I can afford it, I'll go ahead and get it. But it gives you a bit of a focus.
Sure.
So you don't feel so overwhelmed.
Yeah, because that's a common complaint that I hear.
A big festival, especially, and there's so much variation of stuff. And so
so go in with some projects in mind that you're looking
that's always good
for yarn for. That makes sense. Okay. All right. Let's talk about your bases.
Okay.
You said you have 4 bases. Is that right?
I have 4 bases that we dye. Yes.
And we have them back here. So why don't you tell them about each of your bases?
Okay. So they're all merino superwash. Mm-hmm. One is a blend, but they all have superwash merino as the main or all the element.
Makes sense.
And we have 2 fingering weight bases and 1 sport and 1 DK.
Okay.
Because I like to have lots of volume in my colors. So keeping 4 bases makes it easier for me.
Yeah.
And it makes it a little bit easier for shoppers too. There's not like, oh, do I get that one or do I get that one? It kind of simplifies it.
Sure.
So I have 100% wool. Superwash merino wool. This is my superwash sock is what I call it. Classic merino superwash sock.
Nice.
This is all my yarns are 100 grams because that helps with my dye formulas.
Yep.
To have everything because everything's done by weight.
Yep.
So the yardages are different because the yarns are different. So this one is 430 yards.
Nice. And that has a nice high twist
on
it.
It has a high twist, which is what I really like about that one. It's really good for stitch definition.
Yeah.
It's really strong if you want to make socks.
Yeah.
I prefer that to have a nylon in there just because it's smoother.
Okay.
I find nylon can be a little bit itchy.
Okay. So interesting.
Just personal preference. And so it's my yarn, so I get to get what I want.
Yeah. And that's a great colorway too. What colorway is that?
That is one of my newer colors, Jade.
Jade. Oh, it's beautiful. All right. So that's 1 base. What else you got?
And then we have our, which color should we pick for this one? Merino and bamboo.
Yeah, do this one.
The orange one. Okay. This is my paprika. This is my merino and bamboo blend. This has almost 500 yards.
I love that.
And it is really soft. It's a 3-ply instead of a 2.
Yeah.
It's a little bit looser. And then the bamboo, because it's lighter, means you get a lot more yardage for the same amount of weight.
Yeah.
And the drape of it's much different. It's just really almost like a merino and silk.
Yeah.
The hand is similar to a silk.
Look at that.
And this is this is the Mingling Daisy, Stephen West, one of his newer designs. I really love the texture of that one.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It does. It's light, has beautiful drapes.
And
I love that.
It's good for all weather, really. I mean, it's a multi-season because you can layer with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit cooler if you want to wear a shawl in the warmer weather, just for inside or whatever. And it's great for baby stuff.
Ah, very good.
Yep.
Okay.
Really soft.
I love that. What else?
Too much. And then we've got our sport weight. Let's see which color should we pick for that. I think my sport's over here.
Let's do this one. I love that.
And that Lincoln green one.
Okay.
So these are kind of.
Oh,
this is my sport weight base. This is actually the colors that I'm doing my Stephen West in, these two colors.
Ooh, do you want to show them that? Yeah, I see that actually.
We're right here.
Here, I'll hold these.
We'll do a little segue here. So I finally started clue 4 of this.
Look at that. I know some of y'all are knitting this.
This is the mystery knit along for this year.
How awesome.
Finally finished clue 3. Short row purgatory is what I like to call it. And moved on to...
Yeah, you said these short row triangles took a while, and then also the brioche.
The brioche. Yes, the brioche. But I like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the two colors that I'm using.
Together. Anyway,
so my sport weight. This is
base.
My sport weight, though. Yeah. That is in my superwash sock. But this is my sport weight base. And this is also a superwash merino. This is a 4-ply, though. So it's a nice round, cushy.
Yeah.
And this has 340 yards. This is really great. Yeah. It's a light. All of mine are kind of on the lighter side for their range.
Okay.
And they're light fingering weight, a light sport weight, because it's 340 yards for 100 grams. Okay. It's really soft. This is really great for sweaters.
Yeah.
You can make socks out of it, but I usually prefer thinner yarn for socks. But you could totally get a pair of socks out of this.
Yeah.
It's really good for fingerless mitts, but I love it for sweaters because I love a sport weight sweater.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just kind of right in the middle there. It takes a little bit less time than a fingering weight, but DK gets a little heavy for me. Yeah. Unless it's an outerwear sweater, I don't go heavier than a sport weight.
Okay.
It's great for baby stuff too. I've designed a lot of baby patterns out of this base. Yeah. Little baby sweaters and things like that.
All right.
And then last but certainly not least is my DK weight.
All right.
Let's see, let's get this pretty purple.
I know how y'all like purple.
And then this lovely little color here. And this is my my merino DK.
Okay.
This has 247 yards for 100 grams. And this is, of course, great for sweaters if you like to make DK weight sweaters. But you can certainly do a cowl or something out of one skein. Nice cushy cowl.
I love that.
I've actually got a pattern I wrote for that too.
So let's talk about your pattern because we haven't talked about that. How many patterns do you have, do you think, that you've written?
I've got maybe 10 or 12. Okay. I've got 2 shawls. That one is one. And then this square one here.
Oh, yeah. Let's show them that.
This is originally I wrote this for my lace weight base.
Oh.
But at the time, then that got discontinued. So I rewrote the numbers so you could be worked out. And this is really big. It's a traditional Shetland construction.
Okay.
So you knit the center part flat in a square.
Yeah.
And then you're got stitches that you pick up all around and you knit the border out in the round. That's that ostrich plume lace here.
Okay.
And then there's a knitted on edging.
Oh.
So you don't have a big bind off at the end, but you're working all the way around it. So that kind of a construction. So yeah.
And what colorway is this?
This one is discontinued, but I called it lavender.
Okay.
Yep, I discontinued it and got replaced by my wisteria, which I don't think I have one out here in that, but I have a sample in my box. But anyway, it's a lighter blue purple.
And is this the other one you wrote?
And this is another lace pattern that I wrote. And this one is just
that's beautiful.
A stole shape.
Yeah.
So it's really simple. There's much less complicated shaping. You just knit end to end, and then you do the knitted on edging. And it's the same edging actually from that shawl I just held up. I just recycled that edging because I already had it charted.
Nice.
So I got the stitch patterns like out of Barbara Walker. So but I did the charts.
Yeah.
because they weren't charted.
And are your patterns on Ravelry as well?
They are. I've got all my patterns on Ravelry and
on your
my website. And then mostly the rest of them, I've got one little blanket that I did for sport weight. It's in a cable lace combination. And then I've got a bunch of sweater patterns and a little, there's one here I want to get in particular that I think is kind of cool. My little, this one is written with the bamboo. This is what I'm saying, that merino and bamboo is great for baby stuff.
Yeah.
I like classic light baby stuff. And this one you can do for a small, really small baby. Like this is the newborn size. And I know it looks a little big for that, but it's like a full dress on a baby that's that small.
Sure.
But then it's got a lot of growing time because they can still wear it up to about a year old as like a little top with leggings or something.
Oh, that's perfect.
So this, and I've got some little sweaters.
Yeah. I love how that drapes.
And then this one was a vintage pattern that I rewrote in 5 sizes in fingering weight. So
did y'all see those?
A couple of other little sport weight ones, but I won't take up too much time with all of my samples there.
So what's your name on Ravelry so they can find you if they want
to? So let's see. What are those under? I think they're under Catherine Harrison.
Okay.
They're in my Knitting Notions, but as a designer, I think they're coming under Catherine Harrison Designs. Okay. But you can link that from... Yeah, like if you looked up one of the pattern names, you could see all the other ones. Yeah. But also all that's on my website. That's probably the easiest way to find the patterns in one place. And if you want to buy it on Ravelry, you can look it up on Ravelry from that. Yeah. But I think as my designer, I'm Catherine Harrison Designs or something like that.
All right. Very cool. And then colors, y'all can check out her colors on her website. I just wanted to show a few of my favorite. There was this one. I didn't even...
That one's really popular in that base, especially. The Midnight Blue.
Midnight Blue. Do y'all see that? Look at how awesome that is. And I love the tonal quality of that.
That's a really rich color. There's a lot of different colors in that.
Yeah, look at that, y'all. I mean, that's
amazing. There's 6 colors in that.
Wow.
I like to color load the hues.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then where was the other one that I think it was, this is it. Yeah,
is this the Earl Grey.
Yeah, the Earl Grey, because y'all.
It's a violet based gray.
Yes.
So it's a neutral, but it's a little bit on the purpley side.
Yeah. And we love that. So I love those.
I love purple too. Purple's one of my favorite colors. Purple and green.
Absolutely. And it's a neutral, but you can really pull out those purpley lavender bits in there. Oh, I just love that so much. And then this one too, if you're a yellow fan, you told me what the name of this color. Marigold.
That's what it looks like to me.
Yep, it does. I love marigold.
I like to name my colors. I'm going with nature as an inspiration for my colors.
Yeah.
So I try to pick names from nature, with your flowers or rocks or stones or, whatever.
Perfect. I love that. That's awesome. All right. Where else was I going to go with that? Okay. So tell me, we didn't talk about this earlier either. What's your favorite part of being in this business? Whether it's dyeing yarn, doing the notions, like what's your favorite part?
I guess probably, if I'm honest, probably the festivals.
Yeah.
I love doing the festivals. I love just about everything about it. I like traveling. I like traveling by myself and listening to audiobooks while I drive. But I like going in the festivals and people come in and if they're really excited and they've got a project and I love, just like, okay, let me see which yarn would work for that for you and helping them pick colors. Sure. And I just really find that satisfying.
Okay. And then if you could get rid of one aspect of it, what would it be?
Of all of the business,
in general.
Yeah. Probably the admin stuff.
Oh yeah.
Taxes.
Yeah.
Taxes to I don't know how many different states and all of the bookkeeping and all of that kind of stuff. I mean, that's not the most fun part of it.
Yeah, but you probably got it down pat by now.
I mean, I've got systems. I've got
it still takes time. And,
it's less exciting.
Yeah.
The knitting and the meeting with other knitters is the fun part.
Yeah. It's like I was telling my stepdaughter, I was telling her about the business and all. And people assume that because you dye yarn that you're just this creative artist. And I said, but the thing is, that's not always the most important thing.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I like to make a new color every now and then. Like I say, it's fun especially if I have a color in mind that I want to make and go out and and play with my
Yeah.
formulas
Oh, yeah.
and test out until I
Fun.
get that color. But that's really not the biggest part of it. That's like a really small part of it. What is satisfying is to set up my booth, for example, and people come in and they're wowed by it.
Yeah.
And they say, wow, this is really pretty, or, you know, that
Sure.
I appreciate the time that you take to do what you're doing. And, you know, that's gratifying.
But there's so many, you know, there's hard physical work. There's also, you were talking about all the math that's involved. Yeah. Like,
yeah, it's a lot of work. Setting up for festivals is a lot of work. Dyeing yarn, 500 skeins in a day is a lot of work. It's people come in, sometimes they'll make, oh, did you dye this? I'm like, yes. And they say, well, that must be so fun. And I'm like, well,
it is.
Yes. it's I get satisfaction from it, but I'm not going out and playing around and dyeing 10 skeins. This is a lot of thought and a lot of organization. But yeah, I enjoy it.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Because we didn't even touch on that. How many skeins do you dye in a pot, in one of your big pots?
Like I was saying, we can get about 25 skeins in a pot, still giving enough water volume because there's a dye to water rate, you know, yarn to water ratio that you need to have. So yeah, 25 skeins. Yeah, in our pots, and we set up 4 pots, and like I say, so we can usually get up to 500 done in a day.
Yeah, that's a lot.
But there's a lot more going into the preparation and the planning for that dye day.
Yeah, you were
and saying. Then when it's all dyed, you've got all the organization of the yarn and all the printing of the labels and the stickering of all the labels and getting all the labels on the skeins, and then there's the organizing of the stock. Yeah, some goes in here, some goes in the trailer, and then load it all onto my square system. Yeah, it's a lot more that goes into it than just coming up with colors. Yeah, it is. So it's very rewarding, but there's a lot more to it. Owning your own business is a lot of work, no matter what your business is. Sure. But when you're making all your product, even more so. Yeah, and we are. Definitely. We make everything that we sell. That's true. Okay. So why don't you talk a little bit about the notions that you all make? Okay. So yeah, we make yarn swifts. Okay. Which can be used to wind skeins as well as unwind a skein into a ball. And you can use those with a traditional crank type ball winder, or you can use these nostipins that we make. We make these. Some of this is wood from our property, like this Osage orange. Actually came from trees out here. We have an acre here in Nashville. And then sometimes it's wood that we've bought. We've got a variety of woods right now available. We've got some, I think we've got some mahogany, but I don't think I grabbed one. I've got here cherry and walnut. Very nice. And then we have here a maple one. I love that. And this one's Osage orange, and this one is oak. I know I've got some mahogany, but I didn't happen to grab one of those. And then we also make our darning eggs, which I didn't bring one of those. Y'all know what a darning egg is for. Yeah. Okay. But you can find them on our website. Yeah, they're on the website. And I want to show some of these yarn bowls in the box I'll start with the box that's just closest to hand. We make these boxes, which you can use these, of course, to put your yarn in. There's a little magnet in the back, so you can get your yarn in and out. That was when my husband was going to come up with this idea. We'd already been making bowls for years, but he's like, well, what about a box? I'm like, I don't know. Nobody's done it. So he made this up. But the key was the fact that you can get your yarn out, because I've seen in the past people made stuff with a hole in the top, but you couldn't get the yarn out. Yeah. It was stuck in there until you get to the end. So I'm like, well, there has to be. So that's why this little notch is here. I love that. Get it out. Yeah. So we've been making these for about 10 years. And we have 4 different woods in this. What wood is this? This one is the walnut. Okay. But we also have some cherry and some mahogany and some oak. Okay. And then what else? Bowls. Yeah. And this changes just depending on what stock we happen to have on hand. We can make bowls with. Yeah. Because bowl stock is hard to come by. So these are what we have right now have all been laminated together. So we take small pieces of wood. Yeah. And you glue those together in several different steps and configurations, so that you've got stock big enough to turn bowls. Yeah. Can I buy this one from you today? Absolutely. I want this one. Don't y'all love it? I know you're jealous. Look at this. That is just beautiful. And this one's walnut, right? Yes, that one is walnut.
Yeah. I think I definitely need to take that home with me.
All right. And then, of course, we've got the shawl pins.
Yes. I
Which
might
we've
need
got
one of those too.
We've got a lot of different woods in this. I'll just take one out so you see. I've got one in my hair right now, but I won't take my hair down. These work good for shawls and hair.
I love that.
So this one is an exotic paddock.
Yeah.
It's kind of a reddish wood. And we've also got Purple Heart, which is the one I've got in my hair. We've got, again, some more Osage Orange. We like to use domestic hardwoods when we can, like the oak, cherry, walnut. Being in Tennessee, we have access to pretty good domestic hardwoods.
Okay.
So,
very cool.
Yeah. And then we also have a few other little tools, but that was the only ones I remembered to bring something in from the trip.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right. Yeah. So let's see, where are we at? Okay. So and if y'all have any questions for Catherine, don't hesitate to ask. I'll try to be better. One of the things my husband was telling me last week, he said,
somebody else just,
he said, you need to pay better attention to the comments because people say, I know, and I'm like, I'm the only one talking. I so sometimes I'm not always real good, but I'll try to pay attention. Yeah. So we're going to play a quick game, sort of, this or that. Okay. So I'm going to give you 2 words and you have to pick one or the other. And it's really meant to kind of spur discussion. At least that's what I'm intending. So you're welcome to say this, but.
Okay.
Okay. So, and some of them I already know what you're going to say. Others I think I know what you're going to say, but you might have some other things. Okay. Knit or crochet.
Oh, knit. I don't crochet at all. So that one's easy.
Okay. And then, you do other fiber activities. You said you have quilted.
Yes. Well, as a child, I did all kinds of needlework that just self-taught, the age of like 8 or so up. I used to sew on my great-grandmother's, those sewing machines with the little treadle on the bottom.
Yep.
When I would be at my great-grandmother's house in Jacksonville over the summer, I would sew on that and make doll clothes, baby clothes, or Barbie doll clothes a lot.
Yeah.
I would just make stuff up.
Oh, very cool.
Tunics and circles that you cut a hole in and make a skirt out of it, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I used to like to do like needlepoint, crewel needlepoint and stuff like that. My grandmother would buy me little kits. Oh. And so the more stitches that were different, the more I liked it.
Okay.
Satin stitch and lazy daisy and sim stitch and all that kind of stuff. So I really loved doing that kind of stuff. Yeah. Cross stitch I did for a little while, but I got bored with it because it's just one stitch.
Yeah.
I mean, you change colors, but
Yeah.
So I got bored with that. I like variety.
Okay.
In my stuff like that. So yeah, I like that. And then let's see, when all of my big children, my oldest children were small up until, I used to make them stuff a lot. I made Christmas gifts for them every year and I would make toys like little dolls and little blankets and pillows, just whole sets of stuff with little clothes.
Yeah.
I made them stuffed animals. I sewed them dresses. So I did a lot of sewing in my early 20s.
Okay.
And I liked doing that.
Yeah.
I learned to knit when I was 14.
Oh, wow. Okay.
In home ec in the 9th grade. My home ec teacher taught me how to knit. And I did that. I always did that some, but it wasn't my main thing that I really did much with until I got in my 30s. But I did quilting in that interim too. I really got into a quilting phase. I made quite a lot of quilts, baby quilts, full-size quilts, bags for my children to carry their stuff around because every time we would go to the library or wherever we were going, they had 3 or 4 things each that had to go with them. And when you got at that time, 6 children, that's a lot of stuff you got to keep up with. So I made them like little quilted bags so they could throw their must take with me stuff like their special blankies and stuff. So, but then I got tired of having to be tied to a machine or have this big, it just wasn't very practical.
Okay.
After a while, I just realized, I think I just took up knitting again as my main thing. And this was probably 25 or 30 years ago.
Okay.
And that's when it really took off for me as my main hobby because I started learning how to do real garments like, shaping and lace and cables and how to make sweaters and stuff like that.
And
that really just became my, this is my thing now.
Yeah. Didn't you say that was how your husband, you said the Yarn Swift was his first project.
That was the first
and it was because you needed one.
I wanted a Swift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you make me a Swift? There you go.
So he came up with that Swift, and we thought, no,
Hmm.
this with the internet, because this was
Yeah.
early days in the internet. We'd only been online for about 7 or 8 years at that point.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this looks like something we could sell online. So, yep, that's how I started with the eBay store and built my website. And there we
Very
go.
cool.
The rest is history.
I like it.
It'll
Okay.
be 20 years in October.
Wow.
It'll be our 20-year anniversary this coming October.
Okay. All right. Amish Swift or Umbrella Swift?
Amish.
Yeah.
Although I don't know when that started being called that. They weren't called that when we started making them.
Really? Then
Yeah,
I
no.
wonder how they got called that.
I think it was when, I'm not sure, so don't quote me on this.
Okay.
But I know Chalgu
Yeah.
started making those. They basically make our Swifts.
Yeah.
I don't know if they saw ours, but we've had products stolen before. There was a company that that sells, they were making our boxes for a while. They stole our idea. It was exactly the same except for, I think they didn't do the magnet.
Okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
So, anyway.
Yeah, I'm
I don't know
sure.
when they started getting called that. Sometime around there then, though, I think.
So you just called it what, a table Swift? Or?
Yeah, it's just a yarn Swift. It's
I'll
just
have
a
to stop
tabletop
calling
yarn
it that.
Swift. No, you can call it that. It's interesting that
how these things come about.
I don't know.
All right. Very good. And then
I mean, it makes sense. Shaker, Amish. It is kind of a shaker style piece.
Sure. Okay. So maybe that's where it came from.
Yeah.
So Yvette wants to know, what is the website again?
Knittingnotions.com.
Yep. Just knittingnotions.com. Yeah. And all right, let's see here. Paper patterns or digital patterns?
Oh, I like digital.
Do you?
Yeah, I've got an app on my tablet and phone, and so I can load that in there and just, you can highlight and keep up with your rows. It's really cool.
What's the app that you use?
Row Counter. That's on Android. So
okay.
I think it's similar to the one that's on Apple that everybody uses.
I use paper patterns. So,
oh, do you?
Yeah.
What is that called?
I don't know. One of them probably knows.
Somebody probably knows.
What's it called, y'all?
There's a really popular one that's on the Apple platform that this Row Counter,
Yeah.
I think, is pretty comparable to it.
Okay.
I think I pay $7 a year for a subscription, and it is well worth it.
I may have to check it out. Y'all tell us what is it on Apple. All right.
Knit Companion.
I've heard of Knit Companion.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I've heard good things about Knit
for a while
Companion.
It was only on Apple. I don't know if it's on Android now because I found this one and it's good. So
yeah. Okay. So let's see, fingering or DK?
Definitely fingering weight. I like light yarns.
Okay.
I like to work with thin yarn. Yeah.
Oh, here's a good one. Magic loop or DPNs?
Definitely DPNs.
Yeah, me too. I'm not a big magic.
I have done the magic loop. I know how to do it.
Yeah.
I don't hate it, but I prefer double points.
I feel like they're more efficient. Is it just me?
Yes. It feels like there's more movement that has to go on. And that's what I don't like about the constantly yanking on the cord and like, ugh, no.
Yeah.
Once you get comfortable with your hands and how to hold them and realize you're only working with two.
Yeah.
So then, when it doesn't feel a porcupine to you anymore, then
it gets easier.
Yeah.
All right. I know we have some diehard magic loop people.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah. Okay. Lace work or cables?
Definitely lace. I do like cables, but I prefer lace.
All right.
I'm a big lace knitter.
And then color work or brioche?
Really neither. But if I had to pick, probably color work.
Okay.
I guess.
Yeah.
All those ends. That's what I don't like about that is all the ends.
Yeah.
And brioche because 2 rows for 1. So I don't know.
They both have their downsides. I understand. And I didn't even ask you if you knit socks, but cuff down or toe up. Oh, look at you. Those are beautiful.
I have a whole drawer full of hand knit socks. Always cuff down.
Yeah. Oh, me too.
I have tried toe up.
Yeah.
For one thing, I just prefer the cast on being the top of the sock.
Yeah.
Rather than the bind off. Number 2, I hate short row heels. They just don't feel comfortable.
Really?
Yeah, because I've got a high instep.
Oh, I've heard that people, if you have a high instep.
And I don't want to, I just prefer a flat.
Yeah.
And I know you could do a flap on the toe up. I've tried it. Still prefer toe down.
Yeah.
I mean, top down. Yeah.
Whereas I like cuff down too, but I like a short row heel. But
but
it fits my feet fine. So that's why. All right. And then do you 2 at a time or 1 at a time? Yeah. No. You don't get
too much floppy stuff again.
Yeah.
I don't like having 2 balls of yarn attached, which is why I don't really like color work either.
Oh, interesting.
So that's going on with this at times.
Yeah.
It's a lot of yarn management.
Okay. I get that. All right.
I don't like fiddly. Are you getting that vibe there?
Yeah.
I don't like fiddly.
So,
and I don't find lace fiddly, oddly enough. I don't know. I think it's just my brain.
Yeah.
I like complicated stuff. Like
Okay.
complicated books, complicated music, complicated knitting.
That makes sense. I'm seeing a theme here.
Yeah.
All right. Mohair or alpaca?
I guess probably mohair if I had to pick. Okay. I'm not really that big a fan of alpaca, actually, because we have to account for the drapiness of it.
Sure.
So, yeah. And I don't knit with a lot of either, honestly. In the past, I have knit with both, and I prefer wool. Yeah. Can I say that?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I mean, hello, you've been in the business for 20 years. You can say, yeah. Okay. Citric acid or vinegar? Oh,
I definitely use acetic acid.
Okay.
I buy it full strength.
Yeah.
So I don't have to use like gallons of vinegar. I buy gallons of full strength acetic acid.
Really?
So yeah, like when you're calculating how much you need, you only need, like, say weight of fiber is, say, let's go with 100 grams.
Yeah.
You only need 0.4 or you only need 4 milliliters of that for 100 grams.
I did not know that.
So yeah, it's hard to find though.
Is it?
At first, when I started dyeing yarn, the only place I could find it, because you couldn't buy it online, there was a camera shop downtown. And so I would go downtown and buy the stuff that they use for developing film.
Okay.
Glacial acetic acid. And it was 56%. So it wasn't even the 99% that I buy now. And then when they stopped selling it because people weren't developing film as much anymore, finally I was able to source it through like Amazon, and I can have it delivered, but I buy like 5 or 6 gallons at a time.
Yeah.
So, and I just stock it. But that'll last me for maybe most of the year.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to have to get your notes on that because... Well,
I think the colors come out a little bit different when you use citric acid versus acetic acid.
My colors might start looking different. Just saying.
I'm not sure on that. I haven't tested the theory. It's just a hypothesis, shall we say?
Yeah. So, and we didn't talk about this, so you can tell me I'm being too nosy. Price wise, what do you?
I don't know what citric acid costs. I think it's cheaper though, probably than acetic acid. Let me think. What do I pay for that? I probably pay about. I think I paid about $150 for 5. So,
and 5 gallons.
So it's
and that probably stretches.
But it lasts a long time.
Yeah,
so. And I don't know what citric acid. I would be buying it in 50-pound bags if I was buying it.
Yeah, I buy it in 50-pound bags, and I want to say it's been a few months since to get a discount, I bought multiple bags at a time.
Yeah. So do I.
And I want to say it was $150 at least for a 50-pound bag.
Yeah. So it's probably pretty comparable.
Okay.
Right. But it's in powder then.
Yeah.
So you do that by weight then.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't do it by weight. I do it by volume because it's liquid.
All right. Interesting.
But the math is the same? What's your percentage?
So, well, now, and actually, when you say volume, I actually just kind of round it. I do about, let me think. I'm so used to doing it that if I'm not doing it, I have to think about it. So is it two tablespoons for 100 grams is about what yeah.
So you're probably using more than I do, because for 100 grams, I'm only using 4 milliliters. And that's pretty small.
Yeah.
Because you just do whatever the number is, like 2,000 times 0.04. That's how much acetic acid you use when you're using full glacial.
Yeah.
If you're using vinegar, which is only 5%, you're going to be dumping a gallon in there, which affects your volume.
Sure.
See, this is the other thing. When you're doing big volumes, it helps to use really concentrated additives so you're not adding to the volume.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So I'm curious, have you done any Stellina yarns with that?
No, I'm not a sparkle girl.
She's not a sparkle girl, y'all. That's okay. We're okay with that. We can't all be sparkle girls.
That's fine.
All right. And then my last one was solids or variegated, but we already know the answer to that.
Definitely. Because I'm a lace knitter primarily. I really love lace, and that looks better in solids.
Yeah. Okay. And then I did think of another one. Are you a monogamous knitter or multiple whips?
Pretty much. I do happen to have 3 things on my needles right now, but
one at a time.
I have not touched one of them since August.
Oh, wow.
See, that's what happens. I'll think, I'll go ahead and have this on now. No, I won't. Because once I get into one, I get like, no, I got to finish this. I got to finish this. I need to get this off the needles because I'm sick of knitting it. So
You're a progress knitter. You want to get done.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoy the process, so
Oh, yeah,
I like it to
sure.
be something that I'm
Obviously,
enjoying
yeah.
working on.
Yeah.
But yeah, especially if it's a booth sample, I may have a timeline that
Yeah,
I
you
want
need
it
it
done
done.
by this show or whatever.
Yeah. I am much more a monogamous knitter myself. Now,
Yeah.
if it's a pattern that's complicated like yours is, I might just have a pair of like
I've
easy
got a pair of socks in
Yep.
my book, and every now and then, but I haven't touched them in a little while because I got obsessed with finishing
Yeah.
the Stephen West one. But yeah, I've got one sock that I started, and it's past the heel. So
Yeah.
I'm down to
Okay.
the foot
Oh,
part.
yeah.
So
Yeah, but it's easy work.
it's portable. Like it's good booth knitting.
Yeah.
But
There you go.
yeah. I like to have
Definitely.
something that I can knit in the booth. I was knitting that in my booth at the last couple of shows.
Okay.
But
Yeah. And did we mention, yeah, I think we did. Your next show is February, right? I think we mentioned that.
There's
we
the
did.
Scenic Stitches in Chattanooga.
And then where will you be after that?
In March, I'll be in Raleigh.
In Raleigh.
The same weekend as the Nash Yarn Fest. Oddly enough, I'm in Nashville, but I'm going to be in Raleigh that weekend.
And what's the name of that show?
That is the Carolina Fiber Fest.
Ah, okay.
That one is at the Carolina, the Raleigh Fairgrounds.
Okay.
And then I'm back here to Nashville. I'll be doing the Middle Tennessee Festival, which is the weekend after the Nash Yarn Fest. No, the weekend before. I'm sorry, it's the weekend before. So the weekend right before that at the Dixon County Fairgrounds will be the Middle Tennessee Fiber Fest. That's a long established show. It's been around probably closer to 20 years, maybe right around there, 18 years or something like that.
Yeah. All right. Did we forget to talk about anything that you wanted to talk about?
Oh, I don't know.
So you have a blog, is that right?
I do.
You said? And I know you told me this. They can get it from your website. Is that right?
Yeah, there's a link on the main menu up at the top. Yarn Mama blog. That's the name of my blog.
Yeah, so you might want to check that out.
Yeah, I need to write a new post. I try to post pretty regularly, but once I got really busy in October, November, I just didn't feel like I had the headspace to compose one. But I need to tell them. I need to tell them about my knitting progress, because I think the last time I blogged, I was still on maybe clue 2 of my shawl. So,
all right,
I'll do that soon.
Good deal. Well, maybe this will serve as your motivator.
Maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow, not today.
Not today, maybe tomorrow. All right. Well, I like it. Thank you again so much for having me. Y'all check out our website, knittingnotions.com.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see. So next Friday, I'll be back at my usual time, 1:00 Eastern. And so I guess.
All right. We're on Central here. So
yeah. And I
could have waited till 2 then, right?
Well, when I messaged you and said that,
I didn't think of that.
Well, I didn't either. And then Bo was like, oh, there's a time difference.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not going to bother Catherine with that. So I'll just tell them all that it's going to be 2:00 this time. So, but yeah, so next week we'll be back at 1:00. So, but thank you all so much for joining us. I hope everybody had a fabulous Thanksgiving and good food and fabulous family and friends, and maybe some good crafting time as well. So,
yeah, I didn't get much of that, did you?
Yeah. Actually, I did get some knitting done because my husband did all of our cooking.
Well, I had my crew over, at least some of my crew. And
So, yeah. And I don't think we told y'all, she has 10 children.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So you had a lot, and you have some grandkids that came. And
only 2 of the grandchildren were here yesterday because some of the others couldn't make it. And some of mine don't live in Nashville anymore. So, we had, there were 10, 11 of us here yesterday. Okay. And that's only like a third of our family.
The crew. But you had a good time, right? You had a good day, you said?
Good day.
Yeah. So I hope that you all did too. And so we'll see y'all next week. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Let's see. I know what I'm doing.